This is Genuine Engagement of Your Tribe. My name is Mitchell T. Palmer. You know my name, damn it. And we are now going to discuss today day 2 of chapter 3 from Russell Brunson's book 30days.com. What would the author of chapter 3 recommend for day 2? Find out next. Okay, before we get too far into this particular episode, day 2 of chapter 3 from 30days.com by Russell Brunson. Chapter 3, an offering from Garrett J of Wake Up Warrior. I need to backtrack and discuss yesterday's offering, day 1, where I discussed the fact that Garrett makes recommendations on day 1 to go into the daily 8. Now, please, those of you who aren't familiar with what the daily 8 means, go back to yesterday's video and review that. It talks about reality check, he talks about his daily core 4, and he talks about the daily 8. Yesterday, I mentioned that he advised the daily core 4 plus the daily 8 all through the 30 days of his challenge. When in fact, I was preparing for tonight's share with you today, I realized that I made a boo-boo. And that boo-boo goes this way. What he actually recommended for the daily 8 shouldn't start until day 6. Until then, it's a time for reflection, time for daily core 4 every day, that is body, being, balance, and business, and to get your mind right, to get your shit together, so to speak. So if you follow, that correction I think needed to be made. Start the daily 8 only day 6 through 30 of this sprint, as Garrett refers to it. So now moving into day 2, a little bit more on the topic of reflection, and I'm going to refer to this book just so that I get a couple of the details exactly right. Day 2 is a day for more reflection. What do I want? Now, it's important to understand what you want. What you need is a different thing. What need comes from a place of desperation, in my experience. And want is a more purposeful and more driven point of view and motivation. So, what I want is what is recommended on day 2. To make this a day for reflection. What got me here? How did I end up in this low place in the process that I am following through? How did I ruin my financial life or my career? And day 2 of this 30 days should be focused on discovering what caused these things, how I got here in the first place so I can avoid getting right back into it. Now, we have to learn from our mistakes. If we don't learn from our mistakes, that is what Albert Einstein considered the definition of insanity. We don't learn from our mistakes. We do the same things over again, and a lot of times we expect a different outcome. This sounds very familiar to me from time to time. How about you? No? No? Yes? Yeah. I think we've all been through that before, yes? So day 2 is not a day for wasting time. It's important to get in touch with these emotions that have come up because you find yourself in this situation. And everything that you create from this point forward should be given opportunity to truly get deep inside your head and heart so that you understand what it is you're creating and the cause behind the need to create it. So we start the first 30-day target to set up these systems so that you can again actually make money. And it is not the purpose of this 30-day sprint to just build something, but along the way to start creating the machine and to start seeing actually getting paid. The recommendation from this book, as I took it, he's very clear about this. he would make a daily meditation at midday, and that would be about 20-minute time. Then immediately after that, a 20-minute walk. This is a time for reflection. Now, I've discovered in my own personal experience that daily meditation helps to clear my mind of anything. It helps to refocus me, and there have been some really amazing revelations that have come my way when I'm in the middle of a meditation. And funny enough, it oftentimes comes on the days where I thought, I'll put it off, I'll wait, I'll meditate later, or I won't meditate at all today. I'm just going to bag it. The moment I do that, it's become a red flag for me. It's the time where I really do need to focus the time and set aside the opportunity to sit down and go through a guided meditation. So it's, again, we discussed, or I mentioned, it's not okay to just make this about building something. You have to get to work and start working. So it's not negotiable. And Garrett recommends on day 2 to set valid goals. Now, in his recommendation in this chapter, this is a man whose organization is used to making a lot of money in gross revenue every month. And his recommendation, he said he would sit down and he would set aside a goal of earning $100,000 in this first 30 days and set himself up to be able to revisit and repeat that every month thereafter, $100,000 every month going forward. I think it's important here to insert your own numbers. $100,000 is what he would do. What would I do? What would you do? We've got to go back to that reflection from day 1, where we decided and discovered what the pit number is, how much money are you in the hole, what the peak number is, and what you need or want to have as a result of the efforts we're going to make during this first 30 days. So, the 2 questions he asked specifically here are, what do I want economically speaking, 100K in 30 days? You and I need to insert our own numbers. What do I want my lifestyle to look like? I want to be a solo backpack entrepreneur for the next 6 months. Now, this means I won't have teams, I won't have employees. I will be doing this work myself. This ensures, according to his recommendation, that since he fucked it up so badly to get to the point where this 30-day sprint is necessary, he obviously needs time to manage everything alone in his new game and to leverage his own skills for the first 6 months. So we've just covered day 2 of chapter 3 in the book by Russell Brunson, 30days.com. You suddenly lose everything. What would you do from day 1 to day 30 to save yourself? Chapter 3, written by my coach and mentor, Garrett J. White of Wake Up Warrior. Speaking of Wake Up Warrior, I do want to add a little bit of a note in here at the end. And that is, note that, 1, I have been living and applying the tools and the philosophies of the Wake Up Warrior system for over a year now. And I think it's undeniable that people who know me, who have been around for years in the recent past of my life, this last year has been one of monumental growth for me, both personally as well as philosophically, spiritually, in my relationships with my family, my friends, my colleagues, and my clients. It has also brought to the forefront of my memory, and not memory, but to the forefront of my thinking and my mind, the fact that my goal is to be the man that I was created to be. And I think it's undeniable the people who know me best have commented and continue to mention that what I have been able to do in learning and applying the tools and concepts in Warrior have made me a different person. Those who knew me from a lifetime ago say the old Mitch is back. So I like to say that because this is why I focus in on Garrett J. White's chapter of this book. This is why in future episodes of this same offering, I'm going to be diving into Garrett's own book, We Live by a Code, which is the foundation that Warrior is built upon. As we go through this, if there are questions, even if they're non-committal questions, who is Garrett J. White? What the hell does Garrett J. White do? Why the hell do I give a shit who Garrett J. White is and what the hell Garrett J. White does? And why is Mitch talking about him so often during the day? I'm happy to answer questions. Non-committal, no strings attached. If you're curious, if you just want to figure out who's this guy and why do I give a shit, let me know. I would mention also that you can go to wakeupwarrior.com and they've got a lot of really good information there. I will warn you that Garrett is not shy. He's not a shy boy. So the language there is certainly not G or even PG rated. Thank you very much for listening today. Tomorrow we will delve into day 3 of our book. And as always, I am ever working closer to releasing some new content regarding We Live by a Code, and then diving into Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. That's it for tonight. God bless you. God bless the United States of America, the greatest nation that ever existed on God's green earth. And if you're going to post content, don't make it shit. Or if it's shit, leave it off Facebook.